There are two types of people in the world right now. Ones that are terrified that AI is going to replace them, take their job, and another, they build an entire product in one afternoon. And most of you watching this video want to belong in the second category. You want to be so skilled that you want to just build out an entire thing in an afternoon. So you watch multiple things, you watch multiple videos, you just have multiple tabs open and you're just confused at the end of the day. Trust me, I was like this for months. So I know exactly how you feel. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to learn AI super fast. And the way you're going to use AI after this is going to completely change because this is 2 years of my experience playing around with all the models that you know of every single day. That's it. Let's get into the first part, what you already have. This is you, right? And let's say this box is AI. Most of you are using AI like Google right now. So you give a query and the AI gives you an answer back. And if you've been wondering, Hemanth, what's this term called prompting? Well, it's nothing but you giving instructions to the model. Your input is called prompting. And there's a simple framework for prompting, right? This is the abbreviation for that, which I will give in a minute. But before that, you need to understand that whenever you're prompting AI, you should know that you should focus on the outcome more than the topic. So instead of saying something like, write me a marketing email, that would be a topic. But you saying that I have these many subscribers and this is my exact email, but the open rate is very less. How do I increase my open rate? What are other people doing? That becomes an outcome because you're trying to increase the open rate of your emails, right? That's an outcome. So you describe the outcome to AI. That is the number one point on how you can prompt better. And you see the latest models such as Claude Fable, the most powerful model on the planet. And all the models are just going to be better after this point. The concept and the framework of prompting or a template for prompting doesn't exist anymore. It's literally you describing your goal to the model. It's literally you describing what your outcome looks like. That's it. And the model takes care of it and gives you what you want. It's the most intelligent model I've ever used. The less I say, the better of a job it does. I'm talking about Fable, by the way. The less I say, it does a better job. And the more and more instructions I give, the output somewhat gets worse. It almost feels like I'm standing in the way of the more you give me something great. So you need to understand that you need to explain the goal, the outcome so descriptively that the model has no doubt as to what you want. But if it does, this is a bonus point. Mention this at the end of your prompt. If you're not sure, ask me first, then go ahead. If you follow these two things when you're prompting, you will prompt better than 90% of the people. And every time you use AI, you will actually be getting your ideal output. So you won't be going back and forth and almost at the fight with it. Now, whenever you're prompting, remember this. Say what done looks like. Say what done looks like. You need to focus on telling AI, hey, listen, this is what my output should be. This is what you should give me, and go as descriptive as possible. And there's a slight hack for this, right? This is one of my life hacks, voice prompting. It's simple. I purchased a speech to text tool. So whenever I'm prompting, I don't type it anymore. I just speak. Because I feel like when I speak, one, it helps me whatever I want to convey it faster, better, and more efficiently. And I'm way more descriptive. Number two, it helps me make better YouTube videos because when I'm speaking, I'm getting better at communicating whatever ideas I have. So I just thought it was a win-win and yeah, voice prompting changed the game, and I felt like it was just way more quicker and I was way more productive. So, this is how you give instructions to AI with what you already have. Now, let's move on to point number two. Well, prompting done out of the way. Second is memory. Now that you've learned how to speak to AI, memory is to ensure that you don't repeat the same information again and again. And in memories, make sure that you include these. Or it's not like you just have to create a file. See, I'm talking about VS Code. VS Code, you have memory files depending on your project that you're working on, or the parent folder, or the thing that you're currently working on, or just want a temporary memory. But when you're just using the app, such as ChatGPT or Claude, memory is still there. Just so you don't repeat the same instructions again and again. And here's what you ask the AI to remember. These four elements is what should be in your memory. Number one, what your business actually is, what are you trying to achieve, what are you actually doing? Is it to ensure that you want better projects for school, or are you working on a business? And what's your business? Go in depth and be as detailed as possible. Number two, who are you serving? Are you serving yourself, or are you serving your clients, or what are your ideal client base, depending on the business you have? Number three, this is you, how you talk. This is extremely important because you want AI. See, I don't believe AI can speak as well as you, right? Even though the model is really good, there's a touch to what human authenticity sounds like. So you have to ensure that the AI knows how you talk, what's your style, what type of words you use, how do you convey certain ideas. Ensure that AI exactly knows the way you speak. And number four is tried and tested. This is a time saver, right? You need to make sure that you keep updating AI like, hey, you've already tried this. This is not working. This is a better option. So the next time you prompt, AI knows, okay, this is the business he runs. This is the ideal clients he has. This is how he talks. This is his communication style. This is what makes him unique. And here's what I've already tried. All right. So I need to ask him questions that don't belong to the four because I already know these four. That is how you don't keep going back and forth, repeating instructions again and again. And if you're currently repeating instructions to AI, that is not the way of life. This is way more productive and way more efficient. And obviously, when the nature of your business changes or you just have better goals, you can update this. But ensure that your memory file has these four elements. The quality of questions it asks you for clarity will become way better. And this means that it has the right context about you, right? You see, the thing about AI is that it's regenerative. Like, for example, let's say you start a chat with AI, right? And let's say you've already spoken to it, and in the bottom, you ask it a question. So everything that you've chatted before goes to it as context. And if you have memory saved, especially with these four elements, every time you send in the query, the system will send this as a context for it as well. Be this question like, what is the most viral post I can post today? Or what is the most viral video that I can make today? It'll first go through, okay, this is the business, this is the customers he's having, this is how he talks, here's what worked, here's what doesn't. And if it has track of your channel, it'll be like, okay, these videos did not perform well, these ones perform well. And it'll have all the context plus what you've given it in the chat. It'll go as a chunk to AI so that it has much more data to make a better decision. More data equals a better decision from AI, right? This is why you should have your memory file with these four elements. So now you know how to prompt. And now you don't have to repeat core instructions again and again. But you're still doing one thing on a repeating basis. What is that? You're mentioning the procedure again and again. You see, memory, right, is static. It's nothing but static information that just gives your basic details. So, for example, obviously, I told the nature of your business in detail, the audience you're serving, what you're trying to test it, and how you talk. So, for example, this tells you your name, but every time you have to mention what you have to do with the name. Like, you still say that what is the most viral content they can post today, go through these websites, go through these competitor channels, see what they are posting, what is the content of theirs that's performing well, right? The people above you, people who have more subscribers and they're getting way more views than you. What are they doing? How are they improving? So you have to keep mentioning that again and again. Skills helps you replace that. Skills is nothing but your procedure. So when you give something like slash post, it will go to the memory, right? It will take in all the details about you, whatever you are, whoever you are. And then it goes to the procedure like, okay, first I have to see these channels, what are these channels doing, and go to the sources like Answer the Public, Uber Suggest, and see what people are curious about at the moment. And then the procedure runs and gives you your output. These are skills. Skills is nothing but procedure. This allows you to stop being someone who prompts and starts being someone who has a system that prompts for you. Obviously, I have to be honest, the first time you do it, it takes time to set up, as all good things are. But once you set it up and once your procedure is superb, then you don't have to worry about it ever again. And skills obviously can be used in VS Code, Claude, and I think ChatGPT has a version for this as well. So yeah, ensure you get this done, right? And the more and more skills you have, which means your daily process, the work that you do daily on almost a routine basis can literally be done faster, better, and more efficiently. So, whatever your work is, sit down right now and analyze okay, what am I doing? What does the model need to remember about me? And what are the tasks that I do on a daily basis? Okay, I have to post a blog post, I have to post something on LinkedIn, I have to go think about an idea. But for me to come up with an idea, what are people looking for? Right. So now we know how to prompt and we know how to use memory to ensure that we don't use the same instructions or we don't give AM or the same repeated code instructions again and again. But still, we had to repeat the procedure. But now, even a procedure is almost automated. The next step is increasing the efficiency even more. Connectors. So, usually, till now, it was you prompting AI, right? So, let's say with your memory, with your skills, and AI gives you a beautiful output that you exactly want. But now you take this output that it gave you and you go to different apps. So you either go to Gmail, you go to Canva to create content with it, etc. Connectors prevents you from doing this stuff. Connector stops you from being a copy paste machine because with connectors you can work directly with the app. Like, for example, I think ChatGPT and Claude has a Canva connector. I think you'll have to go read the documentation before to understand the capability of what it can do. But you can try it right now. Have a Canva account, go to Claude connectors, connect it, and then you can literally say, make me a blog post for LinkedIn. Choose a topic, right? Just to play with it and use your prompting knowledge here. Be like, hey, I'm a marketer, I have these many years of experience, and this is an observation I have, and I want you to create a LinkedIn post based on this observation. So it can be why people who can communicate better sell 100 times more than people who can't talk. Because sales is essentially a game of communication, right? So you can go for something like that and look at the magic it gives you. This actually helps you a lot because it stops you from going back and forth. We reached 60% efficiency. This is going from 60 to more 70. Stage 5 is gate. And here is where you ask the model to plan first and get it done. And obviously, this is not for fable. Don't give these prompts for models like fable because here less is more. But for every other model, ask it to plan it first. It's right. 9 times out of 10, it'll get it right. But the one time it actually gets it wrong, you just go in that loop where you just keep going back and forth with AI, waste a lot of credits, waste your time, and at the end of the day, you feel drained out and you still don't have your ideal output. So ensure the AI is a gatekeeper and ensure that you are also the gatekeeper. The whole job, right? The more and more you start to use AI, the job primarily becomes delegation. You have to become an expert delegator, leader who's also good at quality checking. Because there's no point of you getting an output that you could have just spent less time than AI doing it. The whole point is to get output of your level in fraction of a time. That is why we use AI. So ensure that you ask it to plan first and then proceed. Here's a hack. Whenever you're using Claude, right, give it high stakes. Every time the task is actually important, tell that it's high stakes. Tell that it's extremely important. If it doesn't get this right, you will go into bankruptcy. Like, give it that high stakes. Claude tends to perform way better when the stakes are high than not. This might actually indicate that Claude might have a personality, but that's a whole different conversation for a whole different video. So, this is a hack. Use the hack. And by this, you're also checking if it understood your question, if it understood your prompt, and if it's actually moving in the right directions. You can use something called superpower, right? This is a skill that's available on GitHub. This needs a little bit of technical knowledge to download and to actually use it. But once you give Claude access to this just goes. Here's what I should do. It essentially creates a to-do list. And you can see the to-do list like, okay, this is how the model is proceeding. If you like it, you can say, okay, cool. If you don't like any step, you can be like, okay, I think you missed this. Please add this in. So this is a very good addition. However, this won't be relevant for much long because of models like Fable. When I mentioned less is more. So that's Gate. Till now, I've literally given you the path, right? If I had to start learning AI, this is exactly how I would do it. 5 steps, and I would learn 2x, 3x faster than I would. Now, this is where you put it all together. Now you have the knowledge, right? You know how to proceed with this. You know what each level looks like, right? And the more and more you use it, you will tend to go towards automation. You obviously start off small with this. Like example, you can say that, okay, how do I turn my entire day's work completely automated? Your job would then be to sit like a CEO and just evaluate the outputs you're getting. That's how we go to the last point. The last point being automation. And I want to mention it's not too late to learn AI. Obviously, people are doing crazy stuff with it, and the model's capability is increasing so much faster and so much more rapidly than we can keep up with it. But the whole point is for you to learn. Whatever comes out, whatever update comes up, read their official documentation, right? Just instantly go and read their official documentation. Or if you're too lazy to do that, usually the documentation is actually pretty easy and I find it interesting to read, right? Because it tells you all the updates and it tells you how to use this model to extract the best and to literally get your best output. But if you can't even do that, take the press release that they give and ask your AI model to summarize it. So this is what you do, right? A new model is released or a new update comes. Read what the company puts out first, and you will know how to use that model. And then after that, it's simple. Go and use a model, test it yourself, play with it. Literally, I think models like Fable and beyond it, it's just you giving a prompt and you just getting out of the way. It'll go on a loop and it'll find out different angles and it'll just give you the output. And then all you have to do is just check the output. So play with it. Firsthand, you will learn so much more. Make mistakes, initially waste credits, just waste your usage limits initially because you'll want to explore and explore because it's such a potent tool and it's so intelligent and it's so smart that you'll have your own theories about it and you'll have your own likings, you'll have your own dislikings, and it's so much fun, right? Experience that fun firsthand. Go out, explore. Whatever it is, just you can simply just start with a small task saying that, oh my god, I'm having a naggy customer. What type of emails do you write to customers? I feel like it's horrible replying to customers because people can sense that AI is slow, and it's better if you can just write it by yourself or use something like a speech to text tool, like it feels like you're actually talking to them, right? People still value human connection a lot. That is why we see a distaste to be AI almost. That said, I hope this video helped you and you don't have to feel overwhelmed or scared to start learning. Learn, grow, build the business, build yourself, keep the smile. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Take care and peace.